Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Heroic Hospitality today, Miss Dana Rodriguez. Oh my gosh, what a pleasure. We've been trying to get together for quite some time now, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So for those of you who don't know, you'll definitely know after this. Miss Dana Rodriguez, also Loca, has just a multitude of restaurants and businesses and a lot of amazing opportunities coming up in the future. So restaurateur, James Beard Award or nominated chef, and Casa Bonita is coming real soon. So you own a bunch of restaurants. You have an amazing Mezcal brand, which we still haven't got in here yet, but we are going to. You know, I've been trying. So, so from Mezcal to restaurants and now to what will be one of the flagship experiences in all of Colorado, Casa Bonita. So welcome to the show, Dana.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
That's exciting.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you so much. And congratulations on all your success. And
Thank you.
boy, I'll tell you, you know, one, I wanted to get together and just catch up and learn a little bit more about your story, which I'm really excited about. And we, you know, for the listeners, you know, we met each other how long ago was it?
Between 15 and 17
Yeah.
years, I think.
Yeah, I think I counted 17, but I'd rather say 10.
Right? We're not that old.
We're not. No, definitely not in spirit. That's for sure.
Nope.
And I'll tell you, you know, really against a lot of the odds at the time. Obviously, being a female, being a minority, started just with an ethic that no one could that's not compromised. How do you like looking back at your evolution, like what would you say was one of the biggest kind of aha moments as you were kind of being groomed through the restaurant industry?
I mean, it's a 24 years story, right? So it's kind of hard like to think like, what are the good and bad moments? What are the most exciting, the ones that you have the most fear? Or you always almost wanted to drop the towel and like, shit, this is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, everything started in 1998 when I moved here from Mexico. I started in a new country that you don't have the language, you know, dial in. You don't understand everything. It was hard, but I always one of those person that I have challenges and I'm like, bring it on. You know, like let's try to do this. The most important thing in my life is when I meet my mentors.
Sure.
You know, like
it's an amazing thing.
And being now going into 25 years of me moving from Mexico here and everything that I accomplished, you cannot do anything in your own. It's just all the people that has been around you for those many years. That's what it put you in the place that you are right now.
Yeah.
But it's a specific this year. It's a full circle for me for 25 years because I start here asking for a job at Casa Bonita. That was the first place that I went to ask for a job.
I just got goosebumps.
I know.
Wow.
And they didn't hire me because I wasn't qualified. You know, I moved to the States with no experience in the industry. You know, I have my own little things in Mexico, my store. My parents are always on retail. I went to school for something different. So now thinking about like, oh my God, where I started and where I am right now, it's like a slow motion movie that you can capture only so much.
Yeah. I look back because I was there when you were getting mentored and groomed way back at Bistro Vendome.
Yep.
And I was in transition trying to open my restaurant Lower 48 from Boulder, Colorado. And you were running the kitchen.
Yep.
And I'd like to believe we were getting along pretty good. We got along pretty good back then.
We had some good and bad nights.
As always, right?
Right?
We were always drinking out of these things, though.
Yep.
Right?
Deli cups.
That's right. So, you know, with that being said, like I've had the luxury and the fortune of seeking out and receiving mentorship as well. And I think that's also a big part because there's a lot of people out there that want to help you, but it's really like, you know, helping yourself and putting yourself in a position to be helped. What was that experience like? As far as like, because you had to earn their trust, it wasn't just like it happened overnight. So if you're someone right now watching this or listening to this in their 19, early 20s, because you and I both can't express enough the value of a mentor. And the word gets thrown around and abused in this day and age, in my opinion. But it is a real thing, and evolution comes much quicker if you have someone that trusts you and supports you and that you listen to. Is there any way you can just maybe identify that just a little bit more?
Well, the hardest part, I think, these days, Mario, is like you and I, we went through having a great people in our life that help us to get strong to make decisions. Right now, I feel that part of that is gone. Like the appreciation for having Jen and Beth to help me and you at one point, to give us the opportunity, to shine and to learn. And I think now, like, that was the key of my career. If you don't have, so I try to think like 28 years ago, I don't know, when I try to think to move here, I start as a dishwasher. If you don't have the right people behind you looking at who you are, what you're capable of, they don't give you the opportunity. Mm-hmm. And mentorship is it's a tool that you can implement. And I feel that this day we losing that. We want people to be ready. We want people to come and like, oh, you should know already what to do.
Right here and right now.
No one take the time to say, oh, you're not great, but I can help you to get better. Mm-hmm. There is nothing like that. When you're hiring people, the expectations change. Mm-hmm. You expect people to know everything and the way that you want it. And even if they work for different companies, you want everybody to be ready. You don't want to deal with, you don't want to spend the time, and you don't want to take the time to build things and to train people in the way that you feel that you're doing something good in this career. And I think to me that was like the key. Like being a mentor is something that you learn from a very special people. Not everybody has the talent and not everybody can take it.
And patience.
And now you're like, well, I become that person. Now I want to see my employees to grow up. What I learned, I want to pass along. And then it's almost like you're building a legacy. And if you don't have that on you can still run business. You just do it in a different way, and you kind of like living the generations more empty. Like the new generations are going in a different direction. It hurts my soul when I hear like, oh, these test kitchens are going to be about having machines making the food for you. And I'm like, what? And maybe that's the future. I have no idea. But I think
it's not your future.
It's not my future. And it's not, that's why you take your responsibility very serious. How can we change that? How we can be more involved in the business, that we can mentor people, that carry on what we believe on.
Right. And and that's one of the reasons I started this podcast, is because, there is a lost art in mentorship and looking at our industry, any customer facing industry, that aspires to be great. And so just another shout out to Beth and Jen. They helped mentor me, helping me get my restaurant off the ground. They gave me an opportunity, even though they knew it was a short-term opportunity, which is a challenge when you accept short-term opportunities with someone that they might have a skill set, but they're not built and they're not engulfed in your culture. And it's hard to understand culture through a short-term lens, right? And so it was identified that it was a short-term lens. They trusted me that I would do the best job I could to help lead their front of the house team and support the back of the house team, but for a short period of time. And so big shout out to Beth and Jen. We love your restaurants, and you guys are great. They're actually, Beth is actually a neighbor of mine.
Yeah, nice.
And that is also a big part of culture. And I aspire to be a mentor for my employees here at Beacon. I do any opportunity I can to take the time out of my day and organize an opportunity to hear what they and aspire to achieve in their life. I really want, and I think I've been doing a good job at it. but it's still something you're never going to be great at because you can always do better.
Yep.
How does culture, speaking of mentorship and what it was like for us, I think that we could maybe distill mentorship into culture now, because I think that culture is a little easier to achieve these days.
Yep.
Is there anything that you do in your restaurants that, culturally speaking, that you can share that might offer value to anybody listening right now?
So I think you know a little bit the story behind Working Class. You know Tony. You were with him at one point, probably.
Yeah, of course. Great guy.
Tony and I, when we start thinking about open a restaurant, we want to create a cool philosophy. We want to build a new culture that doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. So when we sit for the first time, we don't say, we want to do this. We say, we don't want to do this because we went through.
Nice.
That's how we start our business. We sit and we put a paper and we say, we've been working in many restaurants. What we don't like about that? Mm-hmm. What they're not doing right that we can do better? Mm-hmm. And that's when we build Working Class thinking. We can be, the name tell you everything. We are working class people. And we wanted to understand the needs of the community to build that culture based on their needs, not on what the restaurant needs. It's more like the people who's going to be behind. For us, the culture is we care so much for our employees, and we want to provide to them that they are happy every day, and they're going to be the face of our business. I don't need to take care of the customers. I don't care to say the customers always have the right. The customers are the people that I want to make happy. It sounds wrong when you hear that because you're like, well, you want to run a business. You should make those people happy. No, because if you make your employees happy, their job is to make the customers happy. And you're not forcing them. You're making that culture in their brain. That's what we do for a living. Yeah. And that's the thing that Tony and I like, okay, if we used to work for Cheesecake Factory, for big corporations, small restaurants, small independent restaurants, or big chains, whatever you name it, we always take notes, how we can change that different. A lot of people think, including myself, when you start a job, very young age on the restaurant industry, you just want a paycheck. You don't care for what the company offers. But then as you keep growing and you love what you do, like cooking and taking care of the customers or creating a new dish or making a new drink, like when you start having passion, everything changes in your mind. And for us, the culture was take care of your employees, who take care of your business. That was the thing that we put in place.
What's an example of taking care of your employees? Because it's easy to say stuff like that. I hear it all the time.
Yep.
What's a good example of taking care of your employees?
One of the most important things for us, it was obviously the benefits. And the benefits can be just like, it's health insurance, dental, accidental, 401k. But it goes beyond that. It goes like you build a family that if something happened to any of our employees, we do so many fundraisers for our own people that they have their needs. Another thing that a lot of people don't talk about it is the mental health. To me, it's like sometimes you think about, including ourselves, I think about my employees like, oh my God, they are drinking too much. Let's go drive for a month. Let's all cleanse together. Let's all help to each other. We have different situations in our restaurants that we have to put people in therapy for drinking, for drugs, for, mental health problems that they go deep in their families, with their kids, with their wives. They don't want to be in this world anymore because they think it's the end of your night, drinking every night and all of that. And a lot of the owners don't think about what's inside people's brains or hearts or feelings, right?
They lack empathy.
And it's hard because if your employees don't trust you, they would never be open to you. And for us, that was the first thing. I have one of my employees that he say, my dad passed away in Mexico. I don't have the money to send for the funeral. Okay, we all get together. Let's make it work. When you have that trust, that's when you can actually help people. We have people that I feel that I've been drinking too much. I'm on these drugs. I don't know how to get out of this. We're going to put you in a program for 3 months. You still have your job. You still get your paycheck. Those are the things that they are not a policy and an insurance. Those things come from you to that person, and nobody else need to know. That's the caliber of the culture that we create.
That warms my heart.
It's not even on the books. It's not even like, we don't keep a record. Maybe at the end of the year when you're like, well, we spent this money for this.
Ask.
They will. And they say, well, Dana, you need to do things in a different way. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
We do it in our own way, and it's helping. That's why you have employees that they've been with me we start as a prep and dishwashers 24 years ago.
I know.
And now they run in all my restaurants. And that's the culture that we create. It goes beyond the benefits. It goes more deep on like, I want to be a leader. I don't have the power. Can you show me? Can you help me? My family needs this. I need that on the personal level. I want to learn financials. So we bring a lady from the bank. Hey, can you teach everybody like how they can save money? Simple things like that some of our people, I realized that the other day when we do the interviews for Casa, we keep people that they opened Casa Bonita in 1973.
Everybody's reapplying?
Yes.
It's the best way to do it. Yeah.
And we have all those people there.
Good.
And you will find this very interesting. They've been here for so many years, and they still don't know how to go and open a checking account. And to me, it's like, well, they don't have the right culture. They don't have the right mentors to get to the point in their life that they are at a certain age, or they've been in this for so long, but they still struggle with some things. And I'm like, okay, how can we do that? We talk with the partners that we have in the shopping center. There is a bank right there. What if you come and do one class in Spanish, one in English? Tell them how they can open a saving account. How much? A lot of our community, they don't even understand what having a budget means. They say, well, you have money this week, you don't have money next week. How can we help those people to have a better future, to pass it on their kids or their grandkids? That's the culture that I'm talking about, Mario. It's things that not everybody thinks about. It goes a lot deeper than the normal shit that we go through every day.
Yeah. So powerful. So powerful. And I'll bet you, if you were to look at your staff retention, you're not worried about retaining employees. Yeah, neither am I. It's, because if you're good, you can go work anywhere. They're choosing to work with you. And that for me is the biggest compliment that you can get from a younger person that's trying to evolve in the industry, whatever industry that may be, any customer facing industry. And I keep saying customer facing because it is a very challenging thing to understand someone in front of you and empathizing with their position. So if it's like someone's trying to go to work in class and they're frustrated because they were, they had a fight with their spouse earlier and then they couldn't find parking and they're late for their reservation and there was a hiccup with something that was out of your control. And now all of a sudden it's up to the host. Yep. Then it's up to the server. And then it's up for the kitchen to do the job and season it right. But really, it's like that human experience of understanding this isn't about me and putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. And you doing that and practicing that, it's the reason why your restaurants have some of the best customer service in the state. It's not because you've trained them to be, it's you've showed them to be. And that's really powerful.
I mean, it's part of your philosophy, right? We tell everybody, how we do lineup before we open the restaurants. Yeah. And we say, we want everybody to have fun at what you do because that's going to reflect into your customers. And we say, we're here to make people happy and to change people's lives. Yeah. You don't know if they come in from a funeral. You don't know if they come in for signing a divorce. You don't know. And I say, the first thing is when they walk in, make them feel happy. In between, we can have hiccups. We're humans. We make mistakes. I say, but if they get the best impression when they get here and when they leave, they will always come back. And that's such an important statement that you're like, as people is leaving, you can be like, in the other side of the kitchen, you're like, thank you for coming. Like those little things, they look at you and like, that was nice. Yeah. Those little things, it literally change
everything. I love
everything.
good Japanese restaurants. They do that on the way out. Right?
Yep. And it's important, it's the little things that you can make the difference. Yeah.
Well, so, there's so many creative ways to really honor the employee experience. And I think the checking account and banking is an amazing example. Low-hanging fruit, especially if it's in the parking lot where you literally walk by it all the time, that bank. And now what you've also done, Loka, is you've incorporated them in your ecosystem. Now, whenever the bank employee walks into the bank and sees your restaurant, Casa Bonita, wherever it may be, they're going to be like, those guys are awesome. I'm going to go have a drink there later.
Right.
Or I'm going to go there with my family next time they come into town. Whenever you create ecosystems like that, everybody wins. And now you're not like, it's that culture part of it again. It's not like you're mentoring the employees of the bank, but you are inviting them into your culture and how you view just walking the earth. And that's where I think a lot of people miss the boat. They don't slow down and take that opportunity. Another good example, which I'll celebrate what we've done here at our 1-year anniversary. We're obviously a bar. We make our money selling booze, and intoxication's real. And it is, unfortunately, a disability for a lot of people. And one thing we did was, we're sober for a day, but we had a sound healing on the dance floor here.
Yeah.
And yoga and a sound healing. And it's like that little thing gets everybody together. There's no intoxication. Everybody's on the same level. They all brought their yoga mat. They're all kind of a little uncomfortable. They're all in it together, outside of their comfort zone. And I think that's also a really important thing, because you're getting people out of your comfort zone when you speak about the banking and the checking accounts and all that stuff. You're adding extreme value in their life. And if anybody can ever go away from an experience like that and bring it to their family, right? So actionable items is like, it's great to say that you employ and you have a certain way of employing people, but it's also another way of distilling it and like having examples. So thank you for that example. That was awesome. How are you incorporating that spirit and culture into your Dana Loka Mezcal brand? Tell us about that.
Well, that's a really cool project. And again, it's that culture that you want to create, you carry that to in everything that you do.
Yeah.
So when I started the project, I went to Mexico to kind of understand, the people there. You see a lot of people here, a lot of rock stars that they have their own brand of things.
Yeah.
But
you are, by the way. Just saying.
My daughter's rock star. But, it was important to me to go over there and understand how they really feel when someone go and just like give you pennies for your work and then make dollars here for their product. I wanted to do the right thing. Just like I would take care with my employees, I want to do the same thing with those producers. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to learn first on my own so I can educate people about it. I realized I've been in the restaurant industry for 24 years. People sit on the kitchen, they sit in our beautiful open kitchens and they look like, what you doing? And just observing like, oh my God, look at that meat or look at this. And they ask, is that tomato? Is that heirloom tomato organic? Is the lettuce, what is the shrimp for? Like, is it Alaskan salmon or is it a fake salmon? Or, things like that. You get it all the time. But then I realized when people sit on the bar, they don't give a fuck about what they're drinking. Like, they can be the worst product and no one cares. Mm-hmm. Because they don't know. They don't have the education. They hear about sustainable food, sustainable blah, 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 but never about drinks. So I wanted to go and start educating myself so I can educate people. So when I come here, I say, okay, we're going to make 3 mezcals and 3 tequilas. The first priority is to take care of those people because they do the hard work. We're going to pay them fairly. We're going to pay at price that is a good quality, is organic, and we going to build a partnership with them that we can grow together. Yeah. We're not going to just take their liquid and resell it here and we make money and they're fucked. I want to do the right thing.
Sure.
For that, you need to educate your customers. Mm-hmm. So if you're in the bar, you sit over there and you know this because you've been in bars for a long time. And now that you have this one, people can tell you their full life in 15 minutes. They tell you the story about everything. And I say, this is your opportunity to tell people these brands are organic. Out of 1950 brands of tequila, I can tell you 400 are good. That's it. I'm not going to say names. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just saying like people need to start learning about why you should support this because they're doing the right thing, because it's good for your body. It's good for you.
Sure.
There is no additives. There is no bullshit going into that bottle. And you need to understand so you can just like you care for your health through the food. You should care for your health through the alcohol business too.
Couldn't agree more. I was actually in Oaxaca for the first time about 6 months ago. It's really
amazing.
Amazing.
Yep.
I mean, just to get there was a chore. So I can't even imagine what that process looks like from, because you fly into Oaxaca, but then you still have to drive an hour and a half or 2 hours.
My distillery is 3 hours from the city. It's only we have to be in a car all the way through the mountains. It is in the highest part of Oaxaca on the Sierra Madre. We have the best water because it's spring waters. So our product is 100% organic. We use the natural water. It's not the well that has been sitting there for a long time. It's natural yeast. So if I decide to do my harvest on springtime, you're going to taste like elderflower, like oranges, serrano peppers, whatever is around. If I decide to go like in wintertime, then we go like eucalyptus. We have more herbal. We have different stuff that is go into the flavor because we don't infuse things. It's just natural yeast. It's an open air. Whatever is around, that's what you're going to get. Avocados, plantains, based on when you wanted to do the harvest and the process.
So mezcal can be produced year-round?
Yes, you can produce whenever. When you have enough plants.
Which is kind of it's a problem.
Yeah. You have to do it very organically. That is like, well, I can only do so many of this. Or you're going to start mixing, just like with the tequila brand. You know, you buying from other people, you put it on your label, but you don't know what really is the liquid. That's one of the hardest problems sometimes. It's like, I only have this many acres of agaves, and I can only produce this mash. But if you have some, you can sell it to me, but I don't know if you take care of that product. And if I put it on my bottle, now it's with my name on it. Right. So we don't like to do that. We like to do everything. What we can have and what we can produce is what you can put in the bottle.
Okay. But you do purchase agave from other farms or no?
We partner with them, but we do the production.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Of
like
course,
you don't buy the liquid already done and you rebottle. What you do is like you have 3,000 agaves. How much can I pay for that? Or we can partner. I give you more money so you can start doing more agaves for me for the future. And then I bought it, but I cook it myself. So it's the recipe and us. We can just cook it however we want it. We distill 1 or 2 or 3 times, however we want it. So it's a recipe, it's a product. So what we do, I have a meeting with 15 females that they are producers.
Yeah.
And they are very small people in Oaxaca. You know, they don't have all the resources to build their own distillery. So what do we do? I say, okay, all of you guys, I'm going to give you the money. So you have to produce more agaves. And then I bought it from you. I cook it together. I bottle under me, but I'm helping you to grow. So we started a little distillery with 4 tanks. That was 4 years ago. Wow. Now we have 12.
Wow.
And we have a bottle company. And it's just, if you do the right thing, you pay them fairly. So the glass is made,
how do you get your bottle? How do you get the glass?
In Oaxaca. We make everything there, and then we pack there, and then we just have an importer company to bring it to the States.
And your labels too? All of it?
Yes. And the labels are made out of the leftover agave. Oh, so we try to utilize everything. All the girls that we employ, we have videos of our facility. It is the moms that they don't have, probably dead, is in United States. And maybe he never come back because he find another girl here. Like, who knows? Or it's moms that they have kids, so they can be working over there with their kids while, you know, the kids are out of the school. So we try to be supportive of their needs of the community so they can work with us. So we employ people and we grow together.
Gosh. Yeah.
It is a lot layers in between. It's not just like, hey, some people, what they do, they can just go to Mexico and say, okay, I want a brand of tequila or a brand of mezcal. I just want to buy your juice, whatever you have, put it on the bottle. I put my sticker and I sell it in the United States. I try to do the opposite. I want to start from the ground, like take care of the land, being sustainable. If the land, if Mother Earth only want to give you this much, that's what you're going to get. You cannot force things. You know, it has to be real. It has to be good. So that's more educating yourself, educating the communities. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to make only 3,000 liters in this year. you better fucking get it because it's so good.
You're right.
And you're the only one who has the opportunity.
You can charge
and stuff
for it.
like that. So it's, So
that process must have been super challenging, like legalities, getting lawyers involved and all of that. Like, how long was that process? What was maybe like the hardest part of that? Because that's not something that you grew up doing, right?
Well,
this wasn't like part of your family,
and
making
also,
mezcal.
I'm a chef. I'm a cook.
Yeah.
I am producing is good because it's part of what you do when you're creating.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not a legal person.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a financial person. Try to put the whole system together. And you have to think it's two different countries. They don't talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
The rules that you in the United States asked me to have in my label are not the same ones from Mexico. So either I make one happy or make the other one, or my label is not approved. So you have to make a combination to meet both needs so they can approve that to you. That's the hardest part. Like all the legalities of, it is so much more easy.
So the label is probably the most challenging from getting it from...
Yeah, the trademark and understand what, like if I wanted to put it on Berlin and Tokyo, all over, not a problem.
What do you mean?
You just produce in Mexico, you put your label in Mexico, and they just buy it as it is on other countries. You don't have to go to so much legality. You just have an importer company, and my guy can just literally go and do like tastings of everything, and everybody just put it on their bar. They just make a phone call, and they get the liquid.
Damn.
It is so much easy to go overseas than just we're neighbors. We make things so complicated. And that's the hardest part.
Man.
Yeah. And it's with everything, with avocados, with everything. We try to like, don't bring anything in here. And it's just hard because you try to do the right thing with your neighbors. But, political thing go beyond all of us. And it's only so much that you can do.
I'm hearing like one thing over and over again, speaking with you and relationships and how important they are. Yeah. Your relationship with Beth and Jen, your relationship with the family that you left behind in Mexico 25 years ago. And now you've developed and cultivated relationships along the way, obviously. And now you're in a position to accept an amazing opportunity, like with Casa Bonita.
Yep.
And this whole full circle 25-year experience for you. When you look at relationships, and how, it must just come so natural for you to just cultivate these amazing relationships. Is that a true statement, or?
It is. Yeah. To me, it's easy. I get along with everyone. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I tell people, if you don't like me, that's your problem. It's not mine. I like everybody. Yeah. But I think, the network that you create, I went with the governor to do the Biennial of Las Americas in Mexico City. It's 72 delegates from United States that we go and represent United States and Mexico City and how we can create alliances. And we talk about like why other countries is easy to have a good workers and we don't offer things like that. Mexico City, is one of the biggest cities on the world, and the population there is unreal. There's so many people.
Oh my gosh.
So what they try to do...
At one point, it was the biggest city in the world. Right?
And what they try to do, and this is funny and interesting, like everybody go to ski in Colorado. You're in the gondolas, you go up and down. So they taking that from Colorado, and that's the new transportation for them.
Kind of like,
and they learn from us.
Medellin.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just like, how can we as a neighbor can support that and help? We trying hard, and the other world that is the political, like I say, I am not good at it, but I like to have the network. The relationship that you cultivate with those people, I was texting the other day with the governor, like, what about this bill that is about to pass? It's going to hurt our business. How can we get together? How we can express ourselves? Can I bring my workers so they can tell you what they actually need? Instead of other people making the decisions for us that they don't understand. That's what you need to do. You need to utilize those relationships that you create for the best way positive for your own industry, for your community, for your own state. And then at one point your own country. Like, it's only so much that you can do, but yes, cultivate it, and using that network, it's very, very powerful.
Oh my gosh. What another amazing example of how you give back and create culture within your own ecosystem with your restaurants. Tell me just another nugget about what you did with the governor. Where did you go again?
We went to Mexico City. Yeah, and there's going to be another big project with them. Here is called Biennial of Las Americas. So it's different delegates from all over. bring in your expertise. Like I was
Yeah.
telling them, what I do is like I create an alliances between Mexico and United States with my mezcal and tequila.
Mm-hmm.
So I was telling them how we can do that. Other people was about developers, how they can create new jobs in Mexico or bringing people to build things here that we don't have in here.
Yeah.
It's just how we create in different parts of the world. I think the next one's gonna be Brazil and then Costa Rica. So it's at different places that we can start building better relationships and try to have a better way to help to each other.
And is it common, excuse me, ignorance, that a governor of a state in North America goes to these platforms? Is that a common thing, or are we doing something that's out of the norm?
We're making something a little bit different. The person who started this, it was John Hickenlooper.
Mm-hmm.
So he's very involved with, he understands our industry.
Yeah.
And he's been a big...
He's an owner. He owns restaurants.
Yeah, the Wine Coop Group. But also he was in the political world in Colorado for so long that a lot of people know him. And he's the one who tried to build things, Ken Salazar is our ambassador in Mexico City from here, like Federico Peña. We have a lot of good leaders that they always been trying to make that connection between neighbors in Canada or other parts of the world. How can we build things together? It's hard. It's hard to be part of the political world. Yeah. I don't understand that a lot. I don't like to be involved.
Do you find yourself being a little more political than you were in the past? Like how you kind of approach things? Or
I like to learn.
Maybe keeping a little more quiet. I mean,
yes, because I'm like, oh shit, I'm the only one saying those things aloud. Well, you can take it or not, but I don't choose sides. I just express what our needs are. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm the voice of a lot of our industries to just express why people are making decisions for us and they don't know how to run our business. And it's our sweat and those business every day. It's our future. It's our families. It's our community. So someone has to go and fight. I don't see that as a political because I don't want to get involved. I just want to express and almost like educate them about how to make a better decisions. Yeah.
Yeah. And then how you even like, A, you have to listen, but B, how do you even convey that message to someone that is moving so fast that they might care even, but it's just, they're just going so fast. And like, I just getting someone's attention that can actually make a decision or influence an outcome just sounds daunting to me. I
mean, Casa Bonita is one of the biggest examples I can give you. That's the great network we have into the restaurant world. So I went and talked, and I wasn't on that day that we were fighting for this bill not to pass. And I said,
you know what? Specifically? Or not the bill, but what was the message behind the bill?
The scheduling all the people for the next, 90 days. You have to provide a schedule. But if, let's say, you call sick that day.
Like an employee schedule?
Yeah, okay. Everybody. So if you call sick that day, I need to call another person to come and do that. But instead of like, right now we still do that. But scheduling 3 months at a time, you don't have guarantee. It is hard because if I need to call somebody else instead of, you're going to pay them for when they clock in the hours, you still need to pay on top of that because you're going to pay the employee that is sick because you cannot leave your...
Understood, yeah.
So the restaurant owner is going to spend a lot more money because I have to pay you even if you're sick or not. You can lie to me. You don't have to prove it. Then I need to call somebody else. They're going to clock in and out. But on top of that, I need to pay additional because I ruined their schedule and their life for the day.
Oh, my God.
So it was very complicated. We hear a lot of employees, they go from, Starbucks and different places. And I understand when you go for the AM shift and the other person didn't show up, they force you to stay for the double shift. So I try to understand both sides, the employee side and our side. And I just went there to represent my restaurants. You know what? I'm still partner at Rioja. I have Working Class. I have Super Mega. I have Cantina Loca. And then I'm like, well, how many employees did I have between all of those? Maybe, 60, 20, 30, 40. And I say, but guess what? Now I'm hiring 500 people for Casa Bonita. So you think it's going to impact me? Absolutely. Like my restaurants will fucking close immediately.
Yeah.
Like we cannot manage that. We don't have the money. We don't have enough margins to be paying double people for the next 3 months, whether you're there or you're not. I don't know
so
how.
So where are we with that? I'm ignorant on this.
It didn't pass.
Okay,
yeah.
Good.
We fight hard enough, like the Colorado Restaurant Associations, all the restaurant owners, and whatever, you name it. And that's the part that is hard, when people make decisions for you to run your own business. But the powerful thing is Casa. When you say, I'm hiring 500 people, I'm helping Lakewood to do a better economy. Mm-hmm. We're going to bring so many people to that place that is going to help all of us. It's not just us. It's not just the owners. It's Colorado in general. Everybody who comes to Colorado want to go and visit Casa Bonita at least once. Like, you guys need to work with us so we can do our better job, and it's going to help all of us. And I think that's the point of, it's not political. It's just you get the best network, give you the best opportunities to accomplish what you need.
Daunting. 500 employees.
I know.
So when you went, I have my last question about this. When you went through that process, did you have to have someone by your side, like a legal type cat, like freaking a lawyer
to
help you fight for this, for your restaurants or was it just you kind of flying your flag?
No, it was everybody, like 260 to 290 small independent restaurants, chain companies. We sit in a courtroom. We have all the representatives. It was like 15 people. You're sitting in something like this. They ask you, why do you don't approve that? Why you don't want that to happen? And I have to give my sense, like what my employees need and what they want. It's not about me as a business owner. It's what the people need in the community. Because they try to say that the decisions that they make, they want to be the heroes of helping the employees. But if they don't understand their needs, the decisions that they making are wrong. And instead of helping them, they hurting them. And I want them to understand, like, this is from the employers, not from the owner of the business.
Sure.
So they cannot listen to all of us. I mean, we're there like 1 p.m. to midnight. It was so many people testifying, like on Zoom, Juan Padro, like the owners of La Casita, like you name it, like all of the restaurants in Colorado, we're there. We're like 10 hours sitting on a chair, listen to everybody's opinion, and it's just what it is. That's what you need to do to put up a fight and protect your employees and protect your businesses.
I've been unfortunately been out of the loop with it all, and I really want to, it makes me want to be more active.
Yeah.
Because it's a business I've invested my entire life in, and I know that it's just super hard. The longer, the older we get and the longer time goes on in this industry, it's harder and harder and harder for the owners to support their employees and to actually employ people.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the biggest, like, things that aren't talked enough about is like, it's my job to employ people. Allow me to do that in a way that is safe and fair.
Yeah.
With no bias, right?
And also people need to know, Mario, that what we're doing is not just for our own benefits. Like, if we don't have these amazing cool venues like this one, like restaurants that what we have, like Casa Bonita, like Meow Wolf, like when people come to visit our state, they would not come if we don't have all of this.
Yeah.
We are supporting everybody else. We're working hard to make something good for ourselves, to provide for the economy of our state, and to make this a better place for everybody who wants to come and visit Colorado. What
are you, man, I keep rubbing my goosebumps off. That's why I do this podcast, like just to re-engage with awesome, hardworking people that care deeply about their businesses, and in turn, they're the people that help support your businesses. So tell me about Casa Bonita. I had an aversion for some reason to going there when I first moved to Colorado, because of the it had a legacy in a way that was like nostalgia, but not like great.
Yeah.
What are you doing to change that?
Well, the goal, it was just to change nothing and improve everything. Since the beginning, we say that.
I love that.
But people don't comprehend what is that really means.
Okay.
It's like that place was beat up since 1974. Sure. They don't put any money into that. Like every time we open a wall, it's more work to do. The challenges were hard to the point that we're like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna work. It was hard. It's rebuilding a place to make it clean, to make it safe. Obviously, when it was built, it wasn't up to the code.
Even back then.
So now it's just like we have to change a lot of things. But when we say we want to improve everything but change nothing, that means we want to keep the story. Mm-hmm. We want to keep the characters. We want to keep everything but build it in a better way. The same attraction. We still have the pool. We have the sopapillas. We have the chips and salsa. Obviously, what it makes a difference is when I'm making the food, most of the people in Colorado that they visit my restaurants, they know it's clean, simple, and friendly. So I think
clean, tasty, and tasty.
Well, but it's also like the simplicity. Sometimes it doesn't scare people. I don't want people to think, oh my God, now it's gonna look so different. No, if they used to make enchiladas there, I'm gonna make the same enchiladas, but they're not the same. Yeah. They are my own way. We make the tortillas in house. We make the salsas in house. We build a very nice kitchen that we're going to produce everything there instead of just buying food. So that's the difference, And same thing with the drinks. Before it was one small little bar to do frozen margaritas. Probably was already the ones that they came already done. We're going to do a craft cocktails. We want to do partner with local people to do good beers and wines and all of that stuff. So we're making things a lot better without changing what Casa Bonita is.
If you were to explain the experience to one of your family members back in Mexico, what would that experience look like if I was a guest in your restaurant, or if they were a guest in your restaurant and they parked in the parking lot and they walked through the front doors? What can I expect?
Well, the interesting thing, like for local people or people that they came from different parts of the world, what we and my family in Mexico think about when we say it's like a Mexican Disneyland. Yeah. I mean, how can you express that? I'm like, we have divers, we have a monkey, I don't know. Like
you have a monkey? Okay, tell me about this experience. I walked in the front door, now what?
Well, it looks exactly the same, but it's new.
But I've never been.
Well, that's the best part. If you've never been, you need to just go and experience.
Okay.
The hardest part for people is like some people, they've been there, so they try to think like, oh, what did they change? How much it changed? It looks the same, but it's new. So if it was a beautiful, we have a pool, right? We have divers. If the rock was there since 1974, maybe it's a new rock that you have no idea that we have to rebuild, but it looks exactly the same. So that's what we want. We want people to be safe, that smell clean, that is all brand new, but it looks exactly the same without the bad smell, without the food that it was not so good.
Yeah.
And we try to change the experience.
I'm somebody that loves details. What is this diver wearing?
You have to wait until you get there.
Okay, I'll stop trying. I'm sure you can't avoid these conversations without talking about your other partners behind it. Tell me a little bit about these guys.
Matt and Trey are amazing humans. Mm-hmm. They are such a unique humans. You don't see them a lot doing interviews. You don't see them all over. They're one of those that they have their own life. They love what they do. They're amazing at doing South Park and many other things that they do. But they
predicting the future. They're too busy predicting the future.
Right. The most important thing is like they're good humans who try to do the right thing. There's not something that they hesitate. They wanted to partner with all local people. If we want to rebuild that place with Mexican theme, they want to bring the things from Mexico. There is something about them to do the right thing that is the most important thing. They carry the employees for a year and a half. They've been getting paid. And they've been working on nonprofits. They don't want to fire the people when they buy the restaurant that it was closing down, they carry all the payroll for a year and a half. So that means they're good people. One of my things when I get this opportunity, I say, you know what? It doesn't matter who they are. I don't care who give me the call. If they don't have a good values, if they're not good people the way that I want to take care of my employees and do the right thing, it doesn't matter who they are. I will not partner with anyone. When I understand what they want to do, what the vision is, they trust people to make the good decisions, it changed my mind immediately. When I hear, they paying all those employees for a year? What are you talking about? Like, they should be in unemployment or something. Yeah. And, that's when I put together the glue on my head about my movie for 25 years. I say, if Casa Bonita was the first restaurant that I applied, they say, you're not qualified, so they didn't hire me. Part of me is like, if I was hired in 1998 to be working on that kitchen, today I can be one of those employees waiting to reapply because I just get stuck on that.
Yeah.
But if you really think that way, but they say no. So I get at Panzano. That's how I meet my mentors. And that's how you build your own first restaurant. And it's like life take you in different directions for a reason. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's just like, oh, thanks God they say no, because then I have this amazing opportunity to build business, to meet good people, good mentors. And, Matt and Trey are one of those people. They want to give the opportunities to the right people to grow. And I think that's the most important thing.
How did you come to meet with these guys? Like obviously we're talking a lot about relationships, and I love the fact that you brought up about how life takes turns and how hard that was for you at that time in 1998.
Yep.
That was really hard to hear that, not only to not get the job, but then to hear it in probably a way that wasn't favorable.
Yeah.
And to look back and say, wow, that was
the best decision.
It was the best decision, but it's also the luxury of time, right? Yeah. Because I just think it's so important that when younger people specifically, like something isn't going their way or it's not happening fast enough, that it's the way it's supposed to be for your journey on earth. And so I think that, if anybody were to get anything out of this conversation, it's, there's always lemonade after lemons if you choose, and so, but how did you end up getting with these guys? I mean, I know it was somehow relationship based, but what was your...
Well, I think they have a person looking for people to run the restaurant. So I get a phone call from a company here in Denver, and they say, hey, I have a client. They don't tell me who. They say they're looking for not just a chef position, it's more like a partnership. So are you interested to do an interview? And then I have my tequila, I have my restaurants, I have 4. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I need another job. Mm-hmm. And then I just think overnight and I say, I don't know, let me get back to you tomorrow. And then I say, can I get a little information about who these people are? And, I get approached from different people, like, can you do a consulting? We're going to open a market in Pueblo. We're going to do this. And, things. And I'm like, I don't have the time and I don't want to jeopardize my own restaurants. And I say, well, it depends on the opportunity, let's talk tomorrow and then we'll figure it out. I say, well, we can tell you who they are. They will tell you tomorrow if you're willing to go to the interview so you can meet these people in a certain time. And I'm like, okay, let's make it work. At least I can say yes or no based on what I think. So I get there and it was 6 people, and it was the Park County is the umbrella for South Park and their business. So it was the CFO, the lawyer, and the team, was there. And they say, well, we're approaching you to see if you want to be the chef and partner at Casa Bonita. And when they say that, I'm like, well, let me think about it. And then I look and I say, okay, yeah. No, I say, let's talk about it and see what this looks like. Obviously, I have my own businesses and I want to know what it would take for me to be doing that. So let's talk about it and see how this look like. And then we end the conversation because they have like 10 people on the list that they wanted to interview. I was the first one. And then a week later, they called me. They didn't do more interviews, so they wanted to put an offer. Wow. And then I say, okay, let's talk about it, how that's going to look like. And I'm very honest up front. I say I go to Mexico these times to do my harvest, to do my production, to fly my product to here. I have my restaurants I want to keep in touch with. And my time it has to be split. Mm-hmm. And they tell me what they want from me and how they want to do it. And then we just did a little, agreements and figure it out. And we make the decision.
There we go. Mm-hmm. How much from that first conversation when you were sitting around that table, from the vision and the idea, how intact is that to this day?
It grows in a better way because that day it was a team that they managed the company. And then when I asked Matt and Trey to come and eat at my restaurants, I just cook the food, I put it in there, and I just look at them and see what the reaction is. And I say, I want you to know the way that I cook, and if it's something that I'm willing to change a couple of things, but this is me.
Yeah.
You like it? You're not? I want to know now. And they love everything, and they're like, no, you're the expert at cooking, so you can do whatever. We just request a couple things here and there.
That's great.
And then it keeps going in a better way. I feel that we develop a good friendship. They have the trust. We talk about what things we can do better and different. And I went to see Trey's farm in California.
What kind of farm?
he has like a produce things,
different veggies and whatnot.
Yeah, and it's just for him and his family and
good.
whatever. We went to do a small trip to Oaxaca because I want them to understand a little bit of how the production is, to understand our culture. It's important to me that Casa Bonita is a Mexican restaurant, and we get a little inspiration of how we're going to present the story of the continuation of Casa Bonita. It's not like what it was before, it's how it's going to be now and how we can reflect that later on. So it's going in the best way possible.
That's amazing. Yeah. I cannot wait. So
right?
Good. That is so good. When do you guys think you're going to open?
We do the announcement that it's going to be open in May.
Okay.
We don't have the date.
Okay.
We're working, obviously, when you have construction, you know how that goes. We pass all the inspections final, so we know we can be able to open.
There, yeah.
Yeah, right. we just don't have the final date because it's so many components. Casa Bonita is entertaining, it's F&B, it's arcades, it's so many layers.
Keep going. What else?
I mean, that's pretty much it, but under entertaining, it's many layers.
You said monkey earlier, so.
And I say donkeys now. The donkey show. That's TJ.
That's awesome.
It's all the same characters that used to be. Like obviously Trey is a creative person, and he's building his own things and his own way.
Nice. Good.
And that's
a nice nugget. Thank you. Just one last question. Like so when you're making big decisions, do you have like any kind of tricks or tips on how to execute a big decision? Like, because that is a huge decision to commit for such a period of time, and your energy and you stepping away from the restaurants for a little bit. What could you offer me on how to make better decisions? Because it's so important when you're going through this process to kind of identify, okay, it's not just monetary. Obviously, it's not that. It's culturally, sure, yeah. Lifestyle, maybe, right? What are some of these key components to making great decisions about business?
I was doing an interview a few weeks ago with Latino community leaders, and they asked me this question: Dana, what do you tell people to do to make those decisions? And Tony, my business partner, that he just retired.
I know.
He always say, "I hate you and I love you for the same reason." And I say, "What is that reason?" He say, "You never say fucking no. You're not afraid to anything. I love you because I wish I can be like you, and I hate you because when you're gonna stop."
More people need to hear that.
And it's so funny because it is so true. I have no fear of trying something new. I take any challenge because I'm not afraid to fail. To me, failing is not an option. It's a learning process. If I'm not good at something, that's fine. I know I'm good at many other things, and it's my challenge to figure it out how to flip it to something different that I can make it successful. So I think that's my thing. I always say, what is the best advice you can do? Fucking go do it.
Yep. And try. And it's not a fail, like you just said,
Just
it's an experience that didn't work out.
Just do it.
Just figuring it out along the way. I mean, we're all humans having our own journey, and yours
you
is
learn
amazing.
more from your mistakes than anything,
Of
and
course.
that's the best way to put it out there. If you make a mistake, you learn how to fix it. Most of my good recipes come from mistakes, that I burn something, I fuck it up, or whatever you name it. They come from dreams. Like all of that is just like, you just need to start. That's the hardest part for people. Make the decision.
Make the decision.
Yep.
And making the decision for a lot of people is debilitating. I mean, it's so hard for some people just to get out of their own way.
Yeah.
And
I just don't think about it. I just do it.
You surrounded yourself with great people that challenged you in ways that you hadn't been challenged before, and you really did what you had to do to make your life better. And I couldn't praise you enough. I mean, I have so much respect and love for you. So thank you.
Thank you
so much for spending this time together
Thank you so
today.
Much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Shots.
Cheers.
Cheers.